Of course.
And now I'm recording. I apologize. I hope that doesn't happen again. Most important person has not come on yet, which is Hugh. I don't see him yet. I've really never had a problem where my internet goes and it takes the connection with it. I hope this doesn't continue.
Good.
Oh, can I have
Now I'm not seeing anything. I can still hear people. Can people still hear me?
Yes.
But there's no video here.
You can hear you.
Yeah. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. I can see now.
I can hear
I can
you.
see
Okay.
also.
I can also hear you.
William.
Yes, thank you. Okay, and now the screen has come back.
7.
Here I am. My video is working.
Oh, yeah.
Where's Beth? Hi, Beth. Your video
Yes,
is working?
I can hear you.
All right. We just need, see if we can get Mr. Hugh Allen back. Where is Hugh? Stand by, everybody.
I also experienced back.
Looks like almost everybody is back, except for Mr. Hugh. Crossing my fingers and hope my internet connection does not leave again. Here's Hugh. He's just coming in now.
I'm back. How much did you miss?
So everybody, the whole connection went down, Hugh. And so I would assume that we're starting from scratch.
Oh God. Okay.
And
All right.
everything is recording, and almost everybody is back. And I'm just hoping it's not my connection. But go ahead and share your screen and get back up and get going.
Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay, good. How many of you heard my explanation of the two sets of reports?
I don't
Sorry?
think
Right?
that,
The
connection went off.
no.
Okay, right.
You can start from the beginning, Hugh. I can guarantee you that no one heard anything from the very beginning.
Okay. All right. So the reports that you have are in two clusters, all right? And I just want to look at this cluster here. This cluster here looks at the reports which are prepared by the MIS administrator. And the MIS administrator can prepare reports on a single project or multiple projects. So the project administrator can aggregate different projects together. So they can add number of groups from different projects to get a total. There is a project comparison report where instead of getting a total of all projects, you get the results individually. So for example, 350 groups in one project, 250 from another, gives you 600 groups. Benchmark report, which compares a project or a cluster of projects to to any particular geographical scale you're interested in. You can compare what you're doing to all the projects in your country that are on the Savix. You can compare them to all the projects that are in a sub-region like East Africa and so on. The trends report produces graphs, for example, total number of groups. You can do that by single project or multiple project. And you can also look at a project map, which looks at either a single project or multiple. Now, then we look at the next level, which is what happens at the project level. Now, the first set of projects, the project management report, I call them the big bosses reports. And then we have operational reports, which look at what goes on in the field. these reports here are very much the same as the ones here, except they have a project performance report, which is the same as this one here, except for a single project. You have no project comparison report because you are only looking at a single project. You have a benchmark report, which allows you to look at an individual project compared to a geographical zone. You have a trends report, which again looks at the same things as the other trends report does, but for a single project, and a project map. So here, these reports are basically the same here, but this is just for a single project. This is for a single project or multiple projects, as we showed here. Then we have operational reports, which are basically field reports. The first one is where we are comparing trainers. The second one is where we look at an individual trainer and we compare the groups of that particular trainer. We have group performance, which is looking at an individual group. We then have a trainer performance report, which is very similar to the trainer comparison report, but it is created by the MIS administrator, and I will explain that later. And we have data aging report, where you can look at how old your data is. I don't know who's got his microphone on, but if you're not going to speak, could you turn them off, please?
Hugh, could you pull up your screen so that we see the bottom report?
Sorry?
The bottom reports are not visible. They're being, like, so if you, I don't know if you can.
I'm sorry, I can't understand you, Andrew. Could you say that again?
The reports right at the bottom are not visible.
It says data, which one? This here?
Yes. Is it possible to pull it up?
I'm sorry? Can't hear you. There's too much noise in the background.
Is it possible to pull up your screen? Pull the slide up?
No, I can actually show you. It isn't. It's showing full on my screen. I can't really help on that very much, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Let's not worry about it too much for now, because you will have this as a PDF file. Right. Let's start off by looking at. I'm sorry. Somebody has got their microphone on. Could you turn it off? Either Fidel or either Fidel. Yes, I think it's Fidel. Okay, thanks, Fidel. Right. Now you have the MIS administrator reports. Okay. So these are, you have a reporting screen. This is the first one. It is, you'll notice it says MIS administrator here. And this is the project called VSL Associates Tanzania. Okay. And here we have project management reports. This is the home screen of the MIS administrator, and reports are found in the project management reports tab. They're here. So this is where you find the reports as the MIS administrator. Now you then have these are the reports that you actually see. We start off here with the project aggregator. So the project aggregator allows the MIS administrators to select one or more projects to get a consolidated report that adds together the results and produces total and averages for the selected projects. Okay? So here, for example, you see if you click on projects, you see all the projects that are in your MIS. Okay? Here. Then the MIS administrator clicks on Run and gets this report here. I'm not showing all of the report, but I'm showing part of it, and it shows that there are 15,000 members, 4,545 men, and 10,567 women. So this shows for the entire program. That is all the projects, the 3 projects that you selected as MIS administrator. Right, the next report is project comparison. Now here what you do is you click on this thing here, and this will take you to the project comparison report. And then when you click on it, okay, it says projects here, and then it gives you the projects that are included, and you can choose them. And as you can see here, I've chosen all 3 projects. Okay? Okay, so those are the 3 projects we want to compare. I then click on Run, and now you'll see I get my report. Now you will notice that these, let's just quickly go through this. The MIS administrator selects the metrics they want to test, these here. So we have attendance rate, we have average annualized savings per member, and so on, going on down here. So the metrics automatically display up here. And then the report then presents itself, okay? Press Run, and you get the report. Now you'll notice there are only 2 projects showing. And the reason there are only 2 projects showing and not 3 is that the 3rd project has no data in it. It's been set up, but they haven't yet started to enter data. So you're seeing what we have here for just 2 projects, 793 groups, 15,112 members. Now, the next report is the benchmark report. Now, the benchmark report allows the MIS administrator to compare a project or a cluster of projects with the average results for the country, the sub-region, the region, or the world. Okay, this is the benchmark report. And the comparison data comes from the Savix. So what you're comparing it to is data that we have already collected from other MISs on the Savix. Okay, just a moment, sorry. Okay. Okay, so here we have the benchmark selection criteria. So we've already shown. Okay, now in this particular, these are the projects, we've selected all, and then we are selecting, we're comparing them to a country. And in this case, you will see that the country is Rwanda. So I've been able to, I could have selected sub-region, I could have selected region. A region, for example, would be Africa, a sub-region would be East Africa. But if I choose country, I will get a drop-down list of countries and I will be able to select. Okay? Right, so once I've done that, this is the report that I get. I get my project here, and I get all the metrics on my project. I have my 2 projects here, aggregated together, because I chose 2, and I can see the results of my project, and I can see the results for Rwanda. And as you will notice, this particular project is not doing quite as well as the other projects in Rwanda. Savings are less, the membership growth rate is less, the loan sizes are less, but they have more members with loans outstanding, but they have a smaller profit. But they do have a significant cost advantage. So note that the list of projects chosen is displayed. Note that the results of the average for Rwanda is displayed next to the project. So that enables you to see how well you're doing. So we have a very big project here called 2 projects. They're both US.
Hugh, we've lost your voice. Maybe it's only me. Can anyone else hear Hugh? Or me? Please type in the chat box if you can hear me. Can anybody hear me?
November 2013, and the date at which the data should end, December 2014. So we've basically given this 13 months. So those are the 3 things. So we've got the date of starting and the date of ending. And then the MIS operator then selects a single metric, in this case, number of groups, and only a single metric can be selected. And here's the result. So we have here number of groups, we have the starting date of the report, the ending date of the report, and you can see that they are going up over that period of time. Okay, so this is the total number of, this is the kind of graph that is presented. Right, now map. Now all you have to do here is you have to click on project map, and if you have been collecting GPS data, the map will automatically display itself. This is in Arusha region of Tanzania. Here's Mount Kilimanjaro. Here is Mount Meru. Here is Ngorongoro crater. This is the Serengeti around here. And here are the groups that have been, where GPS data has been selected. If you have not been using GPS data, the map will be blank. Now this is for a single project. So it displays the location for each group. And here you'll see we have more than one project. We have two projects. One project shows green dots. The second project shows yellow dots. Okay, and bear in mind, you will only see a map with more than one project on it as MIS administrator. Okay, note that when the administrator clicks on a group, it indicates the name of the group, the name of the project, and the name of the trainer. Okay, right. Okay, so that is looking at, pardon me, let me go back. Let me just go back to that. Okay, this, well, I think I've closed the window. Let me share again. Okay, here we are again. So what I've done here in this particular module, in this particular webinar, is I've only been going through these top reports here. I've only been going through those which are operated by the MIS administrator who has the ability to look at an individual project or multiple projects, can add them together, can compare them to regional or national averages, can produce graphs, and can produce a project map. At the next webinar, which we're going to be doing in another week, we will have the opportunity to go through, we'll be going on to the project administrator reports. It is a more extensive report. Okay, so that's today's webinar for PowerPoint. I'm ready now to field any questions.
All right, everyone. This is where you can either type in the chat box or you can unmute your mic and ask Hugh directly a question. Or you can type in your chat box, everything is clear, I'm okay, if you don't have anything to say.
I would just like to stress one thing here. You will only get to these reports if you log on as MIS administrator, not as project administrator. And you will not see any results concerning individual groups or concerning individual trainers. This is all upper level reports which are of interest to project management and to external audiences such as donors and the microfinance industry. So don't worry about being able to look at the performance of your staff, because we will be covering that next week.
I see Ngoza is having connection problems. Ngoza, you can always look at the recording. I'll put that up later today so that you can get the parts you missed. Hopefully it'll be a one recording. The recording will start where Hugh started explaining the screens again, because the first part I'm not going to post because it was just our introductions and it's a different recording. Not to confuse anybody. So does anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
Yes, I do.
Please.
Thank you, Hugh. Can you please just help me understand the average annualized savings?
To what, sorry, to understand what?
The average annualized savings.
Yes.
I hope I'm not misinterpreting. Does that mean the savings that each member has made in the 1 year time frame?
Yes and no. What it does is the big problem, of course, with savings is that some people could be at the beginning of the cycle and some people could be at the end of the cycle. So you cannot compare the savings of the one with the other because obviously the one who is at the beginning of the cycle will have saved less. So what we do is we take people's savings and we project forward to what they would have saved at the end of a 12-month period if they were continuing to save at the same rate. So let us say, for example, that after 6 months they had saved 10,000 Tanzania shillings. You could expect then that after 12 months they would have saved 20,000. And so the system takes everybody's savings and it extrapolates them forward to a 12-month period so that we can make a comparison.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Other questions? Quiet group today.
I think I may have been going too fast. I hope I haven't confused people by going so rapidly.
Well, otherwise you did just like such a phenomenal job that everyone is in good shape.
Okay. One thing I propose to do, by the way, everybody, is I propose to put all of the PowerPoints that we've been producing on a Dropbox folder, and I'll give you access to it so that if you want to take the trouble to download the original PowerPoints, you'll be able to do that.
And
So with all the graphics and the moving arrows and all the rest of it. I'll be doing that by this evening.
So in addition to being able to download the PDF every week, then he was actually giving you the PowerPoint itself. You just have to respond to the invitation you'll see from Dropbox, and that'll give you access to the files that he's talking about. All right. I don't believe there's any other questions. As I put in the chat box, our next webinar is going to be a week from tomorrow at the usual time. He will be traveling, so he'll be back in time for next Tuesday. In the meantime, we will be publishing this recording and the PDF of the PowerPoint, and their assignment 1 will be up there, and discussion 1. And that'll all be up there, by the end of today. And then everything else will be up there within a few days later. We'll have another assignment, or is there 2 assignments here or just 1?
1.
Okay, but another discussion.
There's also a discussion. Yeah,
Right.
the one thing I'd like to stress is that before you start trying to address the assignment, I would suggest that you went and opened your own MIS, okay, and that you started looking around it as the MIS administrator. You'll only see one project, but you'll still be able to see the reports, and then log out and come back in as what do you call it, as project administrator. Maybe because we're a little bit ahead of time, maybe I can even show that on the screen. I think I can do that.
Go ahead,
that's okay. Okay, let me just quickly log. Let me quickly do it. Right, now I'm going to share screens. Okay, all right, so here we have, just put it up full size. Okay, and I'm going to try and get rid of this, take it away somewhere. Yeah, put it over here. Right, here is the MIS. So I'm going to go SMDP online 1. That's me, okay? And I don't just type it there, I click on it when it comes up, okay? So we got MIS, SMDP online 1. Here we are, there it is. And then I do SMDP online 1 at gmail.com. 15 groups. They're all supervised. And the average age of a group is 1 month, because this is a brand new group, a brand new project. And if I go to project comparison, I've only got one project to compare. So if I click on here, I see Maendeleo Tanzania. I click on, let's say, number of groups. Let's say, oh, I don't know. Yeah, let's have a number of members. Let's have attendance rate. Let's have average annualized savings per member. And then I can run my report. Okay, as you can see, it's only for one project. If I had more than one project, you would see more than one project. And I can adjust the width of these columns. Okay, and if I want the report, I can say print. And there I have what I would see if I were to print it. Okay, if I go along to benchmark, this is going to be a disaster, of course. I'm going to select Maendeleo, and I'm going to compare it to country, and I then compare it to Tanzania. You can't really make a comparison of a brand new project like this, but I run the report, and here I have my project compared to the whole of Tanzania, okay? So you see my cost per member is very high, which you would expect for a brand new project. But I've got a good attendance rate. I have much higher savings than is the norm for Tanzania. My loan sizes are very small right now, but my returns are also very small compared to the country. I'm not going to get any data on I can get trends. I'm not going to get very meaningful data here because we only have one data set. So I click on the project and I click run, and I'm not going to get much because it shows I have 18 groups. So here we are. But the next time I enter data, I would get a proper graph. Okay. Now that's and if I look at project map, I'm getting nothing because we haven't entered any GPS data. But at least you can see how you get an MIS report. Now I log out. Now I want to look at the project level and not at the MIS level. And this is where it gets interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quit this and I'm going to go back into a model that we are using for this course. Okay, and this one I call VSL Associates Tanzania, and I'm going to put admin 1, project administrator 1, and 12112 as my credential. And now I'm going to be looking at a project, and now I'm looking at a single project, right? Not, you see, it says I'm project administrator. And this is the VSL Associates Tanzania Training Project, and I run my report. And here I have 1,500 members, and here is the rest of my report, okay? You can look, we have a benchmark report, okay? And again, I'm going to compare this to Tanzania, and I'm not going to do that. Maybe not. I'm going to compare it to the world. How's that? Let's see how we're doing compared to the world. Run the report. It takes a bit of time to produce it. Oh, that's quick. There you are. Okay, fairly similar. Our growth rate is a bit lower. Our savings is lower. Our loan sizes are a bit lower, and our returns are lower, and our costs are higher. So you can see, compared to the world, this project is not really doing that well. But if I compared it just to Tanzania, you'd find it was a bit better because costs in Tanzania are quite high.
Hugh?
And I look at, yes?
Faith actually has a question for you.
Yes, okay. Faith, what is it?
Okay, I signed in as... Hello, can you hear me,
Yes,
please?
Yes, go ahead, Faith.
Yeah, I signed in as admin, like management information as admin, administrator, but I can't see any data. It seems like I didn't enter any information.
I'll tell you what, Faith, I'd be delighted to answer this question for you and explore it with you. If you'd like to contact me on Skype immediately after this meeting, is that possible? Then I think we can resolve it.
Okay.
Okay? I'm very happy to do that. Faith, do you have my Skype address?
Yes, I have it.
Right, so once we finish here, give it about 5 minutes and then contact me and I'll see if I can resolve your difficulty. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, so we've got the trends report. And by the way, on this case, we do have a project map. And here it is. Okay, this is the results for this project in Arusha region. And I can turn it into a satellite map, which is the one that we are showing on our PowerPoints. Okay, and down below here you have a list of the groups, and you can see here you have their GPS locations. You have the name of the person who's monitoring it and the name of the group. Okay, and if I click on a group, I get the information on the group, the name of the group, the project, and the person who is monitoring it. So you can see then from the point of view of these reports here, I'm getting very similar information to the information I got as the MIS administrator. The difference is I'm getting them on a single project and not on multiple projects. Okay. One thing I would suggest is I'm quite happy to share my credentials. So if you wish to, you can go on to this particular project and look around it. Go in there and explore it because it's actually got data in it and we will be using it. The only condition is that you don't change any of the data, all right? Or because if you do that, I shall be more than unhappy because I'm using it for the purposes of training. Bill, can you tell me how I can put this, the credentials for this onto some sort of sidebar?
Yes, go ahead and if you can use the chat yourself, or you can just tell me what they are, and I'll type them into the chat box.
Okay, just a minute. Let's see if I can do that. I ought to be able to do that. It shouldn't be beyond the wit of man.
Down on the very bottom bar, you'll see chat, and just click on that.
Ah, yes, I see it. Wait a minute. Oh, I got mute, stop video, remote control, annotate, pause, share. No chat.
Interesting.
Remote control, annotate, stop, share, pause, share, new share.
Maybe stop sharing your screen, Hugh.
Okay, right, let's try that. Nope.
Down at the bottom, do you see it says, what do you see in your bottom bar?
I see mute, stop video, invite participants, share.
Okay, do you see anything over to the right, like a little box on the right-hand side? Can you hear me? I think my connection is gone. Did you find it, Hugh? My connection just dropped off, so I was gone a minute. So you didn't find the chat?
Actually, I can hardly see anybody now.
Okay, what? Just
I have.
He's already typed it, so it's.
I have put it in group chat, but I don't see anybody else.
Okay.
It's there.
Everyone seems to have disappeared. We've only got 4 people.
Nope, we still have 19. I don't know what.
Okay, it's just me.
Well, okay. Anything else? Any other questions that anybody has?
Ah, yes, I see it.
Here is a question. Nope, it just says, this is received, Hugh. Great. Robert says, thanks, Hugh.
Got it. Right. I'm looking at the messages.
Yes.
One thing I'd like to stress, though, is before you start approaching the exercise. The exercise is an important exercise because it's asking you to compare 2 different projects. Okay. So I think it's really important that you complete the data entry exercise, that you go on as MIS administrator and you look at the MIS administrator level reports and try to come to an understanding. Okay, and that is covered. In the the project document. The what do you call it? The document that I prepared. For part 6, looking at the MIS. So it's really important that you look at these reports and try to come to some understanding of what the metrics mean. And I'm sure that there will be quite a bit of uncertainty and a lot of clarification will be needed. So you should feel free to email me on the SMDP email address, and I'll try and answer them, or Skype if you see me on Skype.
All right. I think that pretty much wraps it up. That's all you wanted to cover today, Hugh, right?
That's right. Who was it? It was Faith, right? Faith is the one who I'm
Faith
going
will
to
contact you after the broadcast. And is there anybody else who has any other questions? All right. As I said in the beginning, please catch up. You're doing a great job of catching up. We're doing grading as quickly as we can. There are a few grading glitches, but please go look at your grades and take a look at where you're at with your grades, and you'll be able to see if there's any assignments that are missing. If there are, would you go back and try to get those? Oh, I'm back. Sorry about that, everybody. My network is totally unreliable today. I think we're all done. Let's see. There's one.
Yeah.
There's Hugh Allen. Oh, okay. Great. I just wanted to see what was in the chat box. All right. So I won't lose my internet connection again and be stranded one more time. It only happened 5 times during the broadcast. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you showing up. Really appreciate your good questions and participation. And we will see you back here a week from tomorrow at the usual time. In the meantime, contact Hugh or Andrew if you have any questions. And everybody have a great day and a great week. All right, I'm going to end the broadcast because I've just lost my internet connection again in the meantime. So thank you, everybody. And
Bye, Bill.
I'm ending the meeting now. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye. All the best in the election.
Yes, crossing our fingers.
Yeah.